Our group is We the People, by the People, for all the people, or FATP for short. We meet every other Friday. Our next meeting will be May 17th. And until the end of 2024, until the end of this year, we're going to meet every other week and do an educational, informative meeting series. And then once the session kicks into high gear, the first of the year, we'll start our delegation meetings and we'll start having those weekly calls and getting reports on meeting with our legislators. So our mission with this group is to unite families in every county of Florida so that we can foster personal connections with our local legislators through sharing our compelling personal stories. By doing so, our aim is to bring positive change during the legislative session. That is what we do primarily. We also are here for support. There is no one that understands people with disabilities like people with disabilities. No one that understands moms and dads of individuals with disabilities like moms and dads. And we have a lot of allies and champions within our community. So Amanda has some few boring disclaimers for our group. Good.
All right. So, Zoom meeting recording disclaimer. So we record these meetings so that we can share them with YouTube later for anyone who isn't able to attend. So by participating in the Zoom meeting, you're consenting to the meeting being recorded for access by community members unable to attend live. And like I said, it will be available on our YouTube page. Also, by participating, or the participation disclaimer is we have a muting policy. So we will, you're muted upon entry and during the meeting to minimize background noise. If you have a question, please type it into the chat during the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, we have a dedicated time frame for questions. And then also, if you have a question, you can raise your hand. It's basically just to try to keep order and all of that within the meeting, and it not get too chaotic. So once we, acknowledge you to ask your question, you can unmute, and then if you could mute back after speaking. And that's my boring disclaimer bit.
Very, very good. So we're going to start doing announcements in the beginning of the meeting, just in case you have to hop off. We are going to Family Cafe. Family Cafe is the largest nationwide disability conference in Orlando. This year is June 14th through the 16th. And if you haven't registered, it's free to register, but you want to make sure you do that. I know that the hotel that is attached to the conference is booked. But there are surrounding hotel rooms, and your local family care councils may have some financial assistance if you need help with that. And For all the people will not only be presenting one of the days, which Amanda is 11 o'clock on Saturday morning in celebration room.
I don't remember.
I think it's, but we'll circle back to that announcement and make sure that you guys have that. So if you're going, you guys can be a part of our presentation. We also have a table in their exhibition hall. This exhibition hall is incredible. It is, I don't know how many vendors are there, but more or less every resource in the state of Florida will be there. And last year there was 14,000 participants, and everybody trumps through this exhibition hall to get all the goodies and the information. So this is prime time real estate for us to meet other families and loop them into our fold so that they can also connect with their local legislators and share their stories and build this movement, to the next level. So we have a table Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we do have a sign up for that through volunteer sign up. Amanda, would you mind putting the link to that?
I don't mind at all.
I know that Jeff is a volunteer and Alan is a volunteer. And it's really 2 hours for you to just go meet families and tell them who we are, get to know them. We're going to have a popcorn machine thanks to, why is he blanking? Fino. And there's a couple other things we're going to try to incorporate to make our table fun and engaging for families. So that's the first link. If you're going to Family Cafe, we would love for you to sign up at our table. And then the other thing that came up, and I love this, Ebby had a suggestion that, other families might have ideas where they want to present at a meeting or have a topic, a piece of legislation that they would like us to all work together on. So we created a survey. Just 5 basic questions. What would you like to see changed, and build that out from there. And if there are any topics in these meeting series that you'd like us to find experts to cover, goodness, we would love to do that, because the idea is that we're families that are supporting each other. And there are enough of us families that know enough of the right resources that if we all just put our heads together, I think we can make our small group octopus out. And that's the idea. We want as many families engaged in this process so that it's not just one bill that gets passed, but what needs to happen for change. And well, next I want to go to Amanda. Amanda has an interesting yet premature announcement, but I'm going to make her give it anyway because it's pretty exciting.
Okay, so several different announcements. First, I guess, just to kind of update you guys, anyone who isn't my friend on Facebook and doesn't see the regular updates, Jaden has been in his group home for almost 4 weeks now and is doing amazing. He is thriving. Every picture that they send me, he's smiling, and they're keeping him busy, and it has been a complete life changer for him and for us. So very exciting news there. But to segue into my next one, the reason he was able to get that up, most of y'all know I fought with APD for almost a year. And then in February, when we were in Tallahassee for DD Day, thanks to Lily, I had the opportunity to speak with Director Taylor Hatch. And because Lily said, I'm going to go get her. So she did.
Yeah, if you haven't met Lily, she's a firecracker with gusto. Yeah, yes. She's amazing.
Yes, she's amazing. So after that conversation with Director Hatch, the following week, everything I had been fighting for was approved. Well, I had followed that conversation up with an email and basically said, help us help you. Our families are, committed to meeting with our legislators to try to make changes. And we understand, changes need to be made with statutes to help APD help us. So basically, let's have a kumbaya moment and try to let the families help advocate for you guys. So this past Tuesday, I got a phone call from a phone number in Tallahassee. Yeah, in Tallahassee. I didn't know the number. They left a message. And I looked at the message and it says, "Hi, Amanda. It's Taylor Hatch from the Agency for Persons with Disabilities." And basically saying, we spoke at the end of session and that she was reaching out to me because I had offered to, share some feedback. And we have a meeting scheduled next Friday to kind of talk through some things. And I'm going to figure out how we can all help them help us.
So that's huge. And I think I understand why you don't want to give too many details because you don't have them. She doesn't really know the scope of, the meeting. But one of the things, I hope that this is okay. that was mentioned is to talk about the online application process.
Yes.
One of the things that a lot of families, including myself, have been concerned about is great, we passed this bill, but then there's the rules process and the implementation, and is the APD going to drag their feet on this? So it's May 3rd, and this was last week. So in April, they've already contacted people and saying, we want input, we want to get this right. And so I think that's a fabulous opportunity for all the people to let Amanda take the meeting and see what comes of it. In the survey that we sent out, one of the questions I put in there was, I forgot how I worded it, but something to the effect of, how would you like to see the APD online application? What would make sense for the functions and functionalities for you for that to go forward? And that way, we're able to all contribute to, what our ideas are, because we've got 35,000 heads in on this. That's a lot of people that can help make this process easy. And we want the agency to know that we're there as a collaborative effort. We're there to just make this thing work better for our people. And so this is amazing. I didn't think we would actually have agency reciprocation at this point in the game, but thanks to Lily, thanks to Amanda, thanks to us, go us.
Yes. And I know Alan and Melissa have talked to Director Hatch on multiple occasions, I'm sure. And so it's definitely a collective effort, and I'm excited. We'll see what the collaboration brings. So on the May 17th, because my meeting with them is on the 10th. So May 17th, I'll give a little bit more.
Full update. Okay, so just entering in is our speaker. Yvette Benarroch is someone I've gotten to know pretty well across the last couple of years. Real advocate for many things, but our population included. So I don't want to trump on who you are. I'll let you go ahead and give your introduction. But today's speaker is Yvette Benarroch.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Stephanie, for the invitation. I really appreciate it. So a little bit about me. I moved here from Puerto Rico 20 years ago, looking for better opportunities, trying to, realize my American dream. And so I came here, I met my husband, got married, had my children, and have built my life here. We own a landscaping business. We've been in business for about the same time that I've been here, and it's been great. This country is the greatest country in the world. I have no doubt. I am an Air Force veteran, so I know that the freedoms that we enjoy are hard work and have caused a lot of sacrifice. And so I'm very grateful for veterans in this country. And you may say, well, Yvette, how did you and Stephanie connect? So that's a really good story on actually why I'm here and why this path has led me to actually be a candidate now for the Florida House in District 81, among the many other things that I do for my community, because I believe service to my community is important. I believe that we need to think about people, not as transactions, but as human beings. And we all deserve the opportunity to succeed, regardless where we come from or what we look like or what our situation is. So I met Stephanie at a school board meeting. I'm very passionate about education. As someone that comes from a minority community, because I'm an American of Hispanic heritage, I understand how important education is. I understand that opening those doors, it's the answer to people having the opportunity to succeed in life, to have the opportunity to come out of poverty. So I've been very passionate about that for a long time, and that's how I met Stephanie. And it wasn't in the best circumstances that I met Stephanie, because Stephanie was struggling. And I'm a mom. I have a 16 and 18-year-old, but my troubles with my sons will never compare to what Stephanie, and I'm sure many of you, go through every day. And Stephanie has fought so hard to be where we are today. And I saw that firsthand. I saw her at her lowest moments. I saw her literally begging for help. And that actually moved me and actually made me realize that there's children out there that are not getting what they deserve in the education system. There's families out there hurting, and those of us that can't understand it, we didn't even know about it, right? Because we're not in those circles. And I made it a point to actually tell Stephanie that I would be there for her, that I wanted to learn more about our children with unique abilities. I think every child is special, and your children are extra special. I think they all talented. I think they all bring something to the table. I think they all teach us lessons every day, because I do watch a lot of the social media on the website We the People, and I read stories, and it is amazing. I am literally like so proud of all of you, because being a parent is not easy, and I can't even imagine what it is being a parent with so many challenges for our children with unique abilities. So when she asked me if I wanted to, speak to the group, I said, of course, because I have heard so many stories similar to Stephanie's. Stephanie and I actually met with a grandmother a few weeks ago. While I was campaigning, the grandmother came to me and she asked me, because she knows I'm big on education. And I said, you know what? I have the lady that's going to help you, that's going to guide you through the process. Because I think the main issue that we have to deal with is the process is so difficult. And, it's not only with this, government always gets in the way of people. And I can tell you that is one thing that I am very passionate about. Government needs to get out of the way. Get out of the way of people's lives, get out of the way of businesses, because we need to have access to those resources, and we don't need the barriers. We already have enough barriers. So we met with her and she told us her story, and it was heartbreaking for that grandmother to kind of like see how we could help her. And I get emotional because literally, like, until you hear the stories, you can't even begin to understand how hard it has been for all of you. And my heart goes out to you. And I can tell you something. Stephanie knows me very well. I don't dance around my words. I don't make promises that I can't keep. I'm very straightforward. And I'm here today to let you know that I will listen. I will learn. I will always be there to try to find solutions. I'll always be there to tell your stories so that people can relate, because a lot of us can't relate. And I think that's something that we need to work on. I think you guys are doing a great job. I know Stephanie is going to do something called A Day in the Life of, which I think is going to bring light to the many challenges that you guys go through every day. Because the one thing I find, and the main reason why I'm actually running for office, it's because we have no voice up there, no representation. People cannot relate to everyday struggles, regardless if it's your community or even people like me that own a business. As an Air Force veteran, our veterans, nobody can relate to those issues. And the local and state policies literally affect your everyday lives. And those are the people that we need to work with, and we need to ask for help. And I can tell you, I will be one that you can always come to me, and I will always listen to you, and will always try to find solutions. And I will try to open those doors, because I think it's important that we all work together to make sure that our children, our families, with these unique abilities and these special children have the same opportunities that every other children has. So I can tell you, I'm really excited about me winning my primary, because I have so many things I want to do. Um, I want to look to the future and commit to you that I will be there. I will be a friend. I will listen. We will try to work things out. We will try to find solutions. We will try to find more partners at the state level to help us help you. And I hope that you know that you are appreciated, that each and every one of you have touched my life, even though you don't know that. Each and every one of you being out there fighting, each and every one of you that went to Tallahassee to tell them that you need help, each and every one of you that tell your stories on the social media that I follow, Facebook, each and every one of you that wake up every day and fight, you have touched my life. And this is why I'm here today to tell you that you do make a difference, that you are important, and that you need to be proud of everything that you're doing, because you're doing amazing work. And I know as a parent, there's no other joy than children, right? And we die and we do whatever we can for our children. And you, all of you, are doing amazing things. And even though sometimes we feel that nobody appreciates all the work that we do, right? Because it's normal. We get stressed out. Life's stressful. I want you to know from me that even though I don't know each and every one of you, I know enough to know that I'm proud of what you're doing. Keep doing it. Don't give up. If it gets hard, find a friend, text somebody, then we'll lift you up again, because I do that all the time. Believe me, campaigning, it's really hard. And I have a couple of friends around the state that when we get down on a day that it's not such a good day, we kind of like have to lift each other up again, and there's the next day tomorrow, right? So Stephanie can give you my cell phone number if she wants. And if you wake up one morning and you're having a rough day, because we all have them, but I'm sure your day is probably rough as mine, please send me a text, and I will always send you something to lift you up, give you strength, and let you know that there's people here for you. You are not alone. Even though sometimes you feel you are, you're not. And believe me, you have a lot of people that are going to be working to make sure that your life and your children's life are much better. I can promise you that. That I can promise you, because that I know. So I want to say thank you. And I want to also say that I, as a business owner, I am going to give a gift to your organization. So I'll give you a check so you can continue the great work that you guys are doing. So you can use it however it is with your families, because I want to be part of this organization. I want to be part of your lives, and I want to be part of making your lives and your kids' lives so much better. And I want to be part of that. And I say it with my heart. And Stephanie knows me. She's known me for a long time. So she knows that when I say that, and I'm compromising myself to tell you that I'll be here for you as much as I can, I will be. You're not alone. And be proud. And I'm hoping that the next time you're in Tallahassee, I'm hoping I'll be there, and then I get to take a picture with all of you. And just count on me. And if you ever need a friend, reach out and I'll lift you up, and we're going to do this together. And thank you for the opportunity, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you, Yvette. I want to clear up a few things already. So Yvette is underselling our story a little bit. Yvette, she may have known me from the school board meetings. I was at a very low point, begging for help. But I didn't know who she was until she shanghaied a meeting of mine I was trying to help a school board member. It was election season a few years ago, and I was on her campaign. And I heard that this Yvette Benarroch would needed to come interrupt our meeting. And what she did, and this is way before she decided to run, was stop that meeting altogether and say, "Hey, listen, I know enough about you to know that you've got some serious needs. So let's forget about this school board race for today. This meeting's going to be about you, and I want to know how we can help your family." And that, and then followed through on it, because when we're talking about politicians, it's always the good words, but there's the follow through with a vet. And then right before she announced, she took me out to breakfast and said, "Hey, Steph, I want you to know I'm going to be running for state rep, and it's because of your family and families like your family that I'm doing this." So that's been a community servant. She's everywhere somehow, always helping others, and really putting action behind the words. So she has a pretty good chance of becoming our state rep in the fall. And one of the things that I'm listening through family's ears, even though I know you. So grateful that you came on the call. Our families would absolutely love somebody that is caring to listen to, but more than that, we really are seeking legislative change. And you're you're right at the crux of understanding all that information. So I know some of our families. I know there's a mom on the call. She's got a bill. Oh wait, she's not here anymore. Anyways, she's already working on a bill with two co-sponsors. And I would love for families to be able to reach out to you and say, "Hey, this is our story. This is our issue. Can you help connect us?"
Stephanie?
Yeah,
Stephanie,
Pino.
I don't mean to cut you off, but your voice is going up and down. I don't know if everybody's having the same issue, but it's kind of going. We hear a couple of words and then it goes back down again. So I don't know if it's everybody or just me.
How is it now?
Yeah, much better. Okay.
Man, I got this fancy new microphone, and I thought that was gonna be better, but it's not. Thanks, Pino. So Yvette has a huge vested interest in learning a lot about our families. And one of the things, the bulk of the families that are in our group, they're not young children, but the average family, we're dealing with 35, 45-year-old adult children. And it extends all the way from eligibility, which is the age of 3, through death. So we have a large population in the state, although we're a small little group of families that really want to be that positive change. I cannot thank you enough. Would you be all right if anybody wanted to ask like 1, 2 questions?
Oh yes, they ask away.
Go time, families. Anybody got questions?
Okay, Yvette, it's Tom
Yeah.
Nurse. I want to thank you so much for your enthusiasm and your commitment. And one of the true challenges we have as families is we really need a public-private partnership. That the supports of governmental programs with a provider base that many times is a private sector provider base is that partnership for. Because having been a retired insurance professional, the disability community is kind of an awful lot of the coverage. The long-term care coverage really isn't funded in the private sector very well. So it's really important for us that we build those positively for mental entities that gaps that the private sector doesn't have, but recognize the incredible innovation and creativity the private sector can provide, and also the importance of consumer-directed options where families can be some of the best providers. And like, for instance, currently at the Agency for Healthcare Administration, they're still working through the rules to allow for families to be paid as special needs caregivers while we experience a tremendous nursing shortage. So we thank you so much for your openness to learn more, to partner with us, and on a personal basis, thank you for being such an ally to me.
Thank you. It's my honor.
Anybody else? This is your opportunity. She's running, people. This is somebody who wants to help us. You have any questions particular to your story?
And if anybody wants to send Stephanie like the information where you think some of the issues are, so I can start researching and I can start looking for partnerships. I'd be more than happy to do that. So Stephanie, just make sure you get the information to me
Is
so
that
I
the
can learn
email you
more.
want, the ALS, Marco? Is that the one you
Yeah,
want?
yeah, you can use that one. Yes,
Okay.
it's
So
fine.
I have Yvette's email there. If you do maybe have questions and it's not coming to you right now, um, feel free to email her. She is a very good communicator. Um, and
And I
very
want to know your story. I want to know your story because in order for me to understand really good, I want to know your story. So when I speak to uh anybody that I want to partner with, I want to be able to tell your story in a way that reflects exactly what you're going through. So if you want to share that, only if you want to share it with me, of course. So I would appreciate you reaching out. Even if you feel like you're having a bad day, feel free to reach out and I'll try to lift you up.
And Yvette has been in leadership across the state. So chances are, if you're not in District 81, which is Collier County, she may very well know your legislators and be able to help make those connections as well. Um,
Yes.
the one thing you just brought up, which reminded me, you talked about the day in the life of. That actually was not my idea. That was your idea. So we talked about our stories and how they did like really good on the one pager. So we could go into our legislator and have a guide for our appointments. I think we're going to keep that so that we have that connection point. But to build on our stories, Yvette came up with a really cool idea, and I would like your feedback, what you think, because it will take a little bit of work. But if whoever's willing, each family would take their phone and have your phone follow you around all day. Take video of what your day looks like, little videos of the morning, the afternoon, the evening, whatever, wherever you think would be helpful. And then Yvette has a super techie video girl who is willing to help us condense that lots of footage video into a 1 minute a day in the life of. And I think that if we could get our days captured across ages and disabilities and areas and services, man, would we paint even a bigger, better picture. Um, so for families on the call, do you understand the concept? Take your cell phone, do the little video thing. This is us in the morning, and then do it throughout the day. And it can be as choppy as you want. And we'll find like maybe a Google Doc drive, so it's easy to upload. Um, and then we'll have it all edited. And that way, that's another way we can really bring attention to the issues at hand. I will tell you, since nobody's chiming in and I have your undivided attention, um, there's there's a couple of things personally I'm interested in getting in legislation to working on this year. And one of the things is a couple. It's simple. It's terminology. Right now, the agency made a decision to change that word waitlist to pre-enrollment, which is very confusing and not accurate, not an accurate reflection. People who are waiting for the waiver are on a wait list. So we would like to see that go back to waitlist. And then another thing that it's a so unique abilities is a term that we absolutely love when we're talking about encouraging individuals to reach their potential. But individuals on this waiver are not here to showcase their unique abilities. They're here because they have a cognitive disability that is they need institutional level supports and cares. And so there were some talks about this being the unique abilities waiver, and families across the state are concerned. That terminology is great for, like, last week we had the Center of Unique Abilities for UCF, where they have programs that build out those unique abilities. That's exactly the term. But people on the waiver need interventions and supports. And so that's something
They
I
have
want to see.
developmental disabilities.
Developmental disabilities. It's already a little bit confusing enough to say, hey, the agency is the agency for persons with disabilities, because people like my mom, she's a physical disability. She's an amputee, but she's not qualified. So I would like to see if there's going to be any changes. We're the agency for people with developmental disabilities. That's just me, the APDD. And then I talked to you a lot about this, but I'll just do it because these are my things. And maybe if there's families that have ideas, this will spur it on. To see our sister organizations, to see that transition plan go not from the age of 17 when a high schooler is about to go into their next phase of life, but all the way back to the age of 3. Have the early steps through the DOE, and have the school systems, and have vocational rehab and the APD all work to make that transition period successful for the individual. If my children had the supports and interventions at the age of 3, I don't know that Logan would have gone out the window. That is a systemic for the rest of time, will help families not need as many crisis services. So that's where I'm going this year. Anybody have any questions or ideas for our newest friend, Yvette? All right.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think that it's a great idea to do the video vignettes, because it really gives you an opportunity
What's he saying?
to further personalize it. And one of the things that made it so successful last year for us was the humanistic element. Republican or a Democratic issue. It was an issue for a constituent in your community. And keeping the partisanship away from this by keeping it about people, not party, gives us more opportunity to speak to a broader audience, to build those coalitions, to make it move forward. But it is those little stories that haunt, that inspire, that enlighten, and engage our elected officials. And really important work is to create the beginnings of that understanding. So we've got the cafe coming up. Have we talked about that at all?
In the beginning of the meeting, but while you're here.
I just wanted to let y'all know that I just got off the phone for somebody that I didn't even know existed. And if anybody is having trouble with DCF issues at all, because I'm trying to get an annual certification and redetermination combined at one time rather than separate. And I had it done and then it got messed up. So I've been on the merry-go-round to nowhere. There is an office called Community Services, and a lady called Ms. Taylor is supposed to be helping people that are having issues with this. So I wanted y'all to know about it because I've never known about it, and I've been in this merry-go-round for over 12 years now.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brenda. We might want Taylor from DCF to come talk to us on our family meeting at some point. I think that would be awesome. All right, so back to Tom. And if you have a question, just raise your hand, and that way we can get to everyone. Family Cafe, you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying, before we know it, it's around the corner. It's almost here. I know we wanted to do a couple of things, which was we really want to take the one-pagers, and with all the people that are going to be there, we want to bring folks that have already been engaged to grab somebody else, bring them over, have them fill in, help them get on the storytelling, get them. We want to be sure, once again, we're making appointments with our legislators while they're in town, not when they've left and now big wheels Tallahassee. We want them while they're local folk because they can hear much better. It's a little more ceremonial once you get to Tallahassee because there's just so much going on. The ball's really moving by that point. And so one of the things that we were also talking about is creating legislative language. And being, Yvette, pursuing elected office is a certain part of our democracy. So you have to have representative government. And so one of the things that we've really put a lot of emphasis on is that an informed representative represent. And if they don't know your issues, they don't know the needs, they don't know the barriers, they can't be part of the solution. So that is where we're coming from, is to partner to educate, to not just yell and scream, but to identify really specific areas of opportunity to make it work better, because nobody wants to fight the system. We pay for it. We want it to work. There are areas in government that the private sector doesn't do. We need them to do it. And working together. That's kind of the process. How do you see as a upcoming elected official, God willing?
I agree with you. It is, like you said in the beginning, this is not a partisan issue. This is a human issue, and this is a people's issue. And that's how I look at it. And we shouldn't be playing politics with anything for that matter. And, the reason why I suggested the video A Day in the Life of, because like you explained, we have to show what families go through every day, because videos and stories are very powerful. And a lot of us can't understand what you go through. We can't even imagine what you go through, right? So us seeing that and putting it out there for everyone to see, actually, it's going to be so powerful that I am telling you, I am looking forward to partnering up with people to find solutions to your issues and see how we can make your lives better, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be representing you, giving you a voice and trying to make your lives better. Unfortunately, we don't have that much representation, because if you look at who represents each county, what their background is, and it's they cannot relate to the struggles of everyday people. And I think that's the disconnect with politicians these days. When you have a direct connection of life experience and struggles that you went through, the same as other people go through, I think that prepares you when you go up there to actually find solutions to the problems, because you know what it feels like to struggle and be almost like down and beat. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping communities, helping people, and running for office really was never like in my mind, but I see that we're not represented. And I told my husband, you know what? I have to do something, because I cannot continue on. I am grateful to this country. Listen, I came here 20 years ago with nothing, literally nothing, my clothes and one person in Naples that gave me housing until I could get a job. I had a job during the day. I cleaned homes on the weekends just to make ends meet. And then I met my husband and my life changed. And my husband has been so supportive. And I want to give back, because I know how blessed I've been. So I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to learn about your community, see how we can find the solutions. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And it's exciting.
Thank you. One other thing that all of y'all triggered me on. So a lot of our families haven't actually met with a legislator yet. Haven't shared their story because we're a revolving door. People come and they come. You're elected, you're in your office. How would you prefer, like, what would work best for families bringing you information? How would you say, do this and we'll get results done?
So I agree with, you have to do it before Tallahassee, because
When would you say is a good time?
each county is different, each representative is different, so it has to go by county. So I would start by finding, I don't really know how your group works, but I'm just gonna generalize, right? So find one person in each county that's gonna be the lead, like the lead, right? And that lead is gonna find who represents them. And I can help with that. If you send me your area, I could probably find somebody, and then we'll connect, and then you go and email and call and set up a meeting, and then you go meet your representatives. Sometimes if you have a group of people, you can actually invite them to speak to your group. I mean, you can do it many ways, because once you get to Tallahassee, the ball is already rolling. Like, bills that are already, agendas are already set before even the committee meetings and all those meetings before sessions start. So you need to have your ducks in a row, right, by the time. So I would start there, find somebody that's good with following up. Sometimes you got to be a little pest and pester, because, they get busy. But don't give up. And if I can help connect you with some of my friends around the state, which I have many that are supporting me, I'll be more than happy to reach out to them and say, listen, meet with them, learn about it, and see how we can help when I get up there. So that's what I would suggest you do. Just find the one person in your county that it's going to be good at, reaching out, organize, following up, and then we can go from there. And if I can connect you to somebody, I'd be more than happy to do that.
And Yvette, the whole video concept, working together, getting all the kind of like the Anthony will be really good about creating a set of instructions so that we can begin to do that. And I think if we start piloting that sooner than later, that will be huge as a calling card, as a door opener, as an issue setter. And we really thank you for your enthusiasm and support. And what a great idea.
Thank you.
Amanda, is that your actual hand being raised?
Is my actual hand being raised? Hey, real quick. So on the Florida Senate page, I noticed the other day when I was poking around that regular session is supposed to convene on March 4th because it's an election year. They start later. So the things that I've learned with my new job is that House members get 7 bills that they can file. They can file 2 early, and then the other 5 by the filing deadline. So with that being said, so elections November. So I would November, December, January, February. And so delegation meetings will happen. I don't know how delegation meetings happen after an election year because I'm still new to this. So I would imagine they would be.
Melissa might know.
Yes. Is Melissa still?
Yeah, she's here.
Okay. So yeah, basically I would think after the election, it's start calling folks saying, hey, congratulations, I'd like to meet with you.
My
my
representative
find out about that.
Sorry, Tom.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We violated the hand raising thing.
I was going to say, if we've got the bills being written, then others can just co-sponsor, join on to, so we don't have to have everybody write a bill. We have to have enough people agree that it's a good bill that they could support.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think co-sponsoring doesn't take away from your bill count.
that and Senate,
Well,
on the Senate side, they can write unlimited bills. So
one thing,
yeah, they could just bill it all day. That's why they had like 1 million in session, and that in the House you only get 7 per person, even
Right.
though you have more reps.
Okay.
one thing you can also do is if you don't know who your sponsor is going to be, but you have a relationship with a representative, they'll put the bill in bill drafting. The key is to get in bill drafting quick until we find out who the best sponsor for that bill will be.
Right. Yeah, because
So even
And that's
though
where
the Senate, so even though the Senate has unlimited, they still have to have the same bill in the House. So that means that House member will have to
have
put
a
a bill.
sponsor.
So that takes away from their count. So this is why
Right.
it's important that we like he said, just find a good bill that we can all get behind, and that you have a sponsor and a lot of co-sponsors. And I know the new Speaker of the House is this cause dear near to his heart. So I think we're gonna we can accomplish great things this next session.
And everybody in Tallahassee land is now back at their home base. So
Yes.
my suggestion is to contact your reps now.
Yes.
Like now is the time where they're just
Unless they're
recovered
turning out
and
because
ready
they
to start
don't.
listening. I think that like some of our ideas and subject matters are really intricate, and so it may take more than one meeting. But being able to get through that first awkward, oh, I'm going to meet a representative phase, helps to get you comfortable and them comfortable with the issues. So that way you have plenty of time to hammer out the details so that they don't get, shanghaied by anybody else. And that's primarily one of the main reasons we put this survey out there, because the deal is that we all have our own personal experiences and even understanding on the legislative process. But if we work together on issues that are really important, and if it one of the ideas was, well, can we do workshops if somebody has an issue that's really important to them on amending a bill or creating new language, or yes, that's what we can do. That will help octopus us out. So if there's a subject in your life based on your experience that you would love for this group to cover, please fill out that survey because we want to make sure that we're bringing, I know that these meetings were like in May and we're talking almost the whole year away. So we'll bring out people who want to talk about those specific issues. But that's how good job, Tom. That's how it gets done. Go ahead, Tom.
So, and with that in mind, the purpose of the survey is to kind of pick people's brains to take advantage of the opportunities. And did we talk about the work group coming up in APD and all that's
Yes,
going
sir.
on with Amanda?
Yes, sir. And
That's a really big deal. And so
I have the meeting scheduled next Friday. So on our meeting on the 17th, I'll do a kind of an update because I don't have very many details. So I just kind of mentioned that I have the meeting. So
what I'd like to
we've
do
made
is
a personal relationship with the APD, which is fabulous.
Yes.
So one of the things that we want to do is it's good that Amanda's at the meeting, and it's even better that Amanda's at the meeting because for all the people is at the meeting. Because the connection was working in Tallahassee, being at the desk, talking to the director while you were in the lobby, following up with her, bringing a personal story to it, but also bringing the leverage, and didn't hurt to be a legislative aide now either. So all those things combined makes for a great opening of a door. And so one of the most important opportunities we have in the next few days is in the survey to give some input about what would you like to see on a new electronic application and document tracer, so that we've heard used before. Well, we've got input from families. Well, let's get some input. We've got a wonderful conduit now in Amanda and an opportunity to be able to really look at this is part of improving responsiveness, improving accountability, and improving the expediting the process. All those things I would think would be very important. So we can take the lessons from the frustrations of paperwork that was lost, didn't get my application, those kinds of things, and let's provide constructive solutions of what you would like to see, because next Friday is the beginning of a process of taking that legislative process that said we're going to do this, and now we have to turn it into rules and operationalizing it as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible and as accessible as possible. So, Amanda, we're so proud of you, and that's really a lot of good work and lots more to come from it.
Thank you.
Sir Fino, your hand is up, and we're going to close this out. So if you want to talk after Fino, you better raise it now.
Okay, I just wanted I think that from now until the Family Cafe, we'll probably have 2, possibly 3 meetings. So I just want to throw it out there, being that I'm local and the meeting's going to be, the Family Cafe is going to be here in Orlando. If you guys or if anybody wants to ship anything for that booth that we're going to have, you guys are more than welcome to send everything to me. And then I will pack it in my van and bring it over. Just bring everything to me. I'll pack it up and I'll set it up. I'll do whatever I have to do because it's literally probably 10 minutes away from my home. It's not that far away, so you guys won't have to carry. Just ship everything to me. Just give me heads up that you're sending it. I'll pack it up and get it ready. And I got an 80-inch TV that I'm going to bring. I want to show videos.
That's awesome.
We could also bring a projector if you want. And I'll put it right up on against one of the big board.
We want your popcorn machine, man. We know how to draw, man. We want that popcorn and the pizza oven.
So we got 3 things. I got the popcorn machine, the pizza oven. Now I got the projector that we're gonna put videos on the wall.
Awesome.
As long as the health department doesn't show up next.
Miss Melissa?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask real quick. I had put in the chat, but I don't see her on there, if Brenda had Miss Taylor's contact information from that community services. But I think she's gone. If you have a way of contacting her to ask that, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we did it. And this week, thank you, Yvette. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. I don't know if you caught that, but Yvette's going to help us families by getting us more funding for us to be able to go to Orlando this year and Family Cafe and meet these families. I appreciate so much about you, Yvette, but I know that whether you're elected or not, you're here to serve families, and you will, and that's what makes you the real deal. So our next meeting is May 17th, and I think we lined up Nicole, but she didn't 1000% commit to that. So I'll come back at you, but there are families that have already drafted bills that are already seeking co-sponsors on bills. And we want to hear from them. We want to see what we can rally behind so that we can take that to our local legislators. And please fill out that survey, things that you want to see changed with developmental disabilities, APD or not, what you want to see changed. Let's have that as a talking point so that we can learn more from experts that might be able to help us. Happy Friday.